Good evening, folks. My name is Lenny Atencio. I am your host tonight for our wonderful elixir called JC Tonic. And I am excited because I'm a longtime user of JC Tonic. I've been drinking now for over 20 years, folks, and it has tremendously improved my health, and I am grateful because I don't know about you. There was a time in my life that I really suffered with a really serious illness. And at that time, the doctors really didn't have a name for it. In fact, I was only 23 years old at the time, and I was about to be married. I'll never forget, my fiance says, "I'm worried about you. I think you need to see a specialist." And I said, "Well, I've been having this problem for many years already." And that was a horrible skin problem. I was tired. I just didn't feel up to par. And I'm thinking, man, if they find something on me, maybe she won't want to marry me. So I was a little nervous, but she set up the appointment. I went in. They did a bunch of blood tests, and they told me, "We want you to see you the next day." So, of course I went, and Jeannie went along with me. And I'll never forget, the doctor was itching his head. And, he was like, "I want you to sit down." I said, "Uh-oh." It's like being on an airplane and they tell you, "Oh, nothing's wrong." You know what that happens usually with that. So the doctor had said, you know, I, "We don't really know what you have, but you have a serious problem." And I said, "Well, what is it?" He says, "You have an immune disorder." I said, "Well, what does that mean? That's foreign to me." He says, "Your immune system is attacking your body or your organs, and it's starting to shut things down." And I was like, "Wow." I said, "What can we do for it?" He says, "Well, we got these, different medications, and if you take this and that, it should help." So I went away from that meeting, and of course, my fiance Jeannie still married me, and sad to say though, my health just was gradually deteriorating, and we were scared. And she did marry me, and she tried all kinds of different things and potions on me because it just seems like the medication wasn't helping. And pretty soon, I had this skin rash that was just devastating to me. I mean, it was so horrifying that people at work used to make a little light. How people are. They just make fun because my skin was so hideous. My face just swelled up like 3 or 4 times its size. And I'll never forget. Many of the workers surrounded my little cubicle and they said, "You got to go home." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Because, when you don't want to be fired or laid off or anything. So I was like, "What's going on?" They said, "You look hideous. You need to go. And don't come back until you clear up." And this happened to me like 3 times over the years at work. I mean, they just would always send me home when I started breaking out. And folks, it was misery. I mean, I used to itch from head to foot, my scalp, everything. In fact, they used to even call me Lizard Boy, Lizard Man, Elephant Man. I mean, I heard it all. And I just took it in stride. But deep down, it really hurt. It really hurt me that I looked so hideous. And of course, my wife kept trying to get me these skin specialists, and they tried all these different creams and remedies. I'll never forget when I was, she got the bath water ready, and she put this oatmeal thing in a sock and put all kinds of stuff in there. And oh man, I was covered with oatmeal, and we couldn't get it off. It took us almost an hour to get this oatmeal off. Did it work? No. My skin continued to break out, and it was just misery over the years. I mean, I suffered for over 18 years with this skin problem, and I started having allergy problems, severe. The allergist says, "Well, you're allergic to everything." He goes, "I don't know what to do for you, but, I had to go take shots." And I went for 5 years, and still my allergies were out of control. My asthma was out of control. I started losing weight. Eventually, my lymph nodes swelled up so bad that they said I may have lymphoma. which can be deadly. And I'll never forget after I turned 37 years old, and you're supposed to be like, that's part of your prime life. And it wasn't for me. I got to the point where I was so miserable, I got depressed. And I was never that way. I was always a positive, happy, type person. But man, when you're miserable, I mean, what do you do? So I'll never forget. My wife tried all these health remedies and different diets, and I mean, we just went through the whole gamut, and we spent a lot of money. And it's hard on your budget when you can't even pay your home bill anymore because the doctor bills are so high. So we were getting afraid that we can't pay on the house. So to make a long story short, my wife finally took me to the doctor again, and they did all kinds of tests like they usually do. And one doctor came in the room because there was several, and they said, Lenny, well, there's nothing we can do. And I said, what do you mean by that? He says, you don't have much time. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm only 37 years old. I was devastated. And let me tell you, my wife, man, she was practically in tears in that office. And we got home, she cried. She cried her eyes out. We were broke, sick, didn't know what to do. My wife had to take care of me, so she couldn't work. So we were about ready to lose everything, our home, our vehicles, everything. And in fact, my wife started, little dumpster diving. People make fun of us, but I mean, we had to do whatever we could to stay afloat. So when we got introduced to JC Tonic, I literally laughed. I said, ma'am, I don't need this stuff because I got a phone call and this woman said, hey, we got this new formula. And, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, I did not want to try it. And one thing is we were broke. I mean, my wife had all these herbs and vitamins in the cabinet and all these formulas. I tell you, I had it up to, I was downright not going to try anything else. But the lady called me back. I just hung up on her. She calls me back and says, oh, by the way, we're going to have free samples and all that. And I said, ma'am, didn't you hear what I said? I said, don't you understand what no means? And she goes, yeah, but and I hung up the phone again. And we were getting ready to leave because we had to be somewhere. My wife did all the driving because that was another problem. I lost my eyesight. I went legally blind. So, boy, who wouldn't feel miserable? But I went back into the car because we had to go get something, and the phone rang again. And we had the dial tone ring phone. It's not like cell phones where you see who's calling. We had the old phones, of course, back those days. So I answered the phone again because I thought it was the people that we were supposed to be there. We were already running late. It was the lady again. Her name was Joan. I said, Joan. I said, why are you calling me? She goes, I just got one more thing to say, Lenny. Don't hang up, please. Don't hang up. What if this works? What if this is the thing that you've been waiting for and it works? And I thought, wow, she made a lot of sense. Because what if it did work? So I told my wife, I said, we need to try this. She goes, oh, no, we don't have no money for that. She goes, who's behind it anyway? Did you ask who made this stuff? And I said, his name is Anthony Urach. And we had known about Anthony's family years ago because we were taking one of the formulations called KM. So my wife says, oh, well, we got to try this. So we were pretty excited. But again, you're skeptical. We don't have no money. So when we went to go get our free samples, let me tell you, boy, we had chips on our shoulder. We're not going to sign up. We're not going to do anything. We're just here to get those free samples. I'll never forget that. Boy, make a long story short, we got on JC Tonic, folks. And I always think of what Joan said those 20 years ago. And that is, what if it worked? And it worked. I'm a healthy person today. And the doctors are puzzled because they thought I didn't have much longer to live. Well, guess what? I've been living for over 20 years now. And I'm healthy. I'm vibrant. I don't have the skin problems anymore. I don't have those bad allergies. The lymph nodes are fine. In fact, I did a took some tests, for blood tests. I like to do that every year because Carl Urach said that this was a blood cleanser, or it works on the blood and it nourishes it and it detoxifies it and all these things. And of course, that was another thing like, oh, yeah, right. Okay, because everybody makes promises. But I'll tell you, my blood tests for all these years have been really positive. And remember before I talked about myself, how they said I had an immune disorder because my blood was, the test showed that I was, really in bad shape. And even today, my blood tests are incredible. I don't have signs of an immune disorder anymore. And that's why I always promote JC Tonic. And I'm happy to host it. When the Tonic Man, he'll be back next Sunday. But I am so thrilled to be part of this company. I feel I'm part of their family. So I wanted to introduce to you a friend of mine. She's over 87. Okay. So you may be thinking, oh, it's too late for me. I'm too old. A lot of people say that. And Joan, she used to take JC Tonic. She gave it a try for a while, but then she moved away and had some hardships, so she kind of got off. But I'll never forget when I first met her, she had all kinds of problems. And when she started drinking the tonic, she was like, wow, I'm really improving. But then we lost contact because something happened. So we got in touch again, and I'll never forget. She's like, oh, I'm worn down, Lenny, and I remember when I used to take the tonic. Do you have any on you? And I said, Joan, I'd be happy to take you a bottle. Well, after a while, I want you to hear what she has to say. All right, Joan, tell the folks what JC Tonic has done for you so far.
Well, after about 2 or 3 months of getting back on the tonic, I hadn't used it for quite a while. I went to the doctor for a checkup and found my blood pressure was down to normal. It had been quite high for quite a while, and it was right back down to normal, and my weight was back to normal. So, and I have more energy. I had a really bad fall recently and didn't break any bones at all. I kind of had a sore rib cage, but that healed pretty fast. I doubled up on the tonic, took some extra. And also my knees were scraped a bit and they got better. So I was able to recover a lot faster, I think, because of the tonic.
Very good, Joan. Thank you for your story. So you see, when she got back on JC Tonic, it took a little time. And when your blood starts to get purified and clean and detoxified and oxygenated, that's the beauty of JC Tonic. Because when you have clean blood, and Carl understood this so long ago, that your body will get healthier. Your glands will start to work and your organs will be better. Your immune system is actually in the blood. I don't know if you knew that, but your immune system is in your blood. So if your blood is all clogged and backed up and poisoned from all the stuff we eat and drink and breathe, I mean, let's face it, we're constantly bombarding our body with toxins every day. So think about that for a second. So what would you do to try to get your blood clean? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought, oh, I got to clean my blood? You know what the only solution is for a lot of people is dialysis. That's a machine that actually cleans your blood. But how many people do you know that are cured from dialysis? I had a friend some years back, and she never wanted to try the JC Tonic. Not everybody will, but she put her faith that the dialysis machine was going to make her better. And 4 years later, she had been miserable, and her husband was concerned. And he said that she's starting to go down, Lenny. I don't know what to do. And I said, well, I'll talk to her and see what happens. So I tried to get her on JC Tonic. And folks, I'm not saying here that it could have cured her or whatever, but she told me, she says, Lenny, when am I going to get better from this dialysis? She says, it's tiring and I'm weak. And I thought to myself, wow, we have something, but she was willing not to try it. And JC Tonic is the only formulation I've ever seen on the market that actually cleans the blood. And Carl knew this so long ago. This is not a new product. This has been around for many, many years, folks. Many years. I remember the story, he started working on it back in the 1920s. and he put it on the market in 1943. Why do you suppose it's lasted so long? Because it works. So over 75 years now, JC Tonic has been on the market to help thousands and thousands of people. And it has. So if you're skeptical, I understand, but just try it. You'll see. So I want to actually interview Peggy. She's going to give you an update. And I think this is important. So you got to hear, because a lot of people have this problem, but we're too scared to talk about it. So Peggy, tell us your update on JC Tonic.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. It has to do with my colon. And, it's been said that death starts in the colon. But I have an amazing experience with the tonic that I'd like to share. And I was having some problems with my colon off and on this last year. But I thought everything was working okay. But I knew there was something wasn't working right, but I was still going like I should, and but I wasn't feeling well. And so a friend of mine had told me that she took 7 ounces. Well, I've been on the tonic now for around 20 years, and I never, ever thought about taking that much tonic at one time. But she had good success doing it for another problem that she had. So I thought, I'm going to do it. I just took 7 ounces, and I went to the bathroom probably 6 to 7, maybe 8 times in a row. I mean, I just kept flushing it out and purging it out, and I couldn't believe it. And after everything was done, probably an hour later, I felt the most calm feeling that I maybe had when I was, I don't know. I don't even know what year that was, that I started having a lot of anxiety and emotional problems in my life. But I felt like I was a young girl again, and I just was so calm. And I stayed that way for many days. I mean, it was amazing experience. So I talked to Lenny, and I told him about this experience, and I wanted him to share it with others, because don't be afraid to take more tonic. It works. All I have to say is it works. It's an amazing product. And so it can help, like Lenny said, any organ in your body that needs to be worked on, it's going to go to that area. So don't be afraid of it. Just be calm. And even if you're not calm after you take that much, just be patient.
Right. Now, Peggy, before you go, you said you were taking 7 ounces. Are you still taking?
I took 7 ounces. I took 7 ounces that night. Oh. I just drank 7 ounces. I put it in a glass, and I drank it down, and I drank a lot of water with it.
So how much are you taking now?
I'm back to taking 1 to 2 ounces a day.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, don't be afraid to take it.
Right. I just wanted to make sure the folks understand it's not like a long-term thing. Don't take it every day, folks.
No. But taking that much, it just went to the area that needed to work on, which I didn't even know I was that plugged up. But it was amazing. I was so excited. I couldn't believe it. I didn't even know, that I had that much in me. Where'd this come from? But you have a lot in your colon, and people don't realize. Sometimes you just have to flush it out. And I needed help with the tonic, and taking that much, it did the job. So it's amazing.
Thank you, Peggy. Appreciate you coming on and sharing that. I know it's not something everybody wants to talk about, but it's important. So thank you very, very much. So folks, you heard it from Peggy. Man, how many people today really need to get that colon clean? And that's one of the things Carl Urach knew back long ago also. Not only that your blood has to be clean, but he knew that the colon has to be cleaned. And let's face it, folks, what we're eating today and all the problems, like I said, that poisons in the air and the water we drink in and everything, all this gets trapped in your blood and in your tissues, and that's what causes disease. They really realize that the effects of this world we're living in can kill you. So how do you combat that? try JC Tonic, folks. It could be the one thing you've been looking for a long, long time. And I can tell you, I was one of those skeptical. Remember, I told the lady 3 times, no, no, no. And it was the thing I needed. So just give it a try. And I'm looking forward to hearing all of you back next week. We're going to have another great story, and we're going to have the Tonic Man. That is the founder of URAC Worldwide. His name is Anthony Carl URAC. He is the son of Carl, and he's continuing to carry his father's legacy. Why? Because this formula will help thousands more, and it could be you. So we'll see you back next week, folks. Thank you very much. As we say around here, take an ounce and fill the balance. Good night, everybody.
URAC Classic Whole Body Tonic is a dietary supplement, not a drug. Therefore, it is useful to affect the structure and/or function of your body in various ways, but it is not intended to and will not cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual testimonials may not be rep everyone's experience and do not constitute scientific evidence. URAC Corporation does not make any drug or treatment claims for its product.